The first move I'm going to show you is how to self-assess your global mobility in seconds. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you 5 other movements that can help you identify joint by joint where you have the most stiffness in your body. So the first thing we're going to do is just a simple overhead squat. So I'll show you from the front first. We're going to go feet just around shoulder width. We're going to bring our hands up overhead as far as we can. And then from here, we're just simply going to squat down as low as we can, feeling as comfortable as possible here. From the side, bring your shoulders up as high as you can, start to squat down, and you want to try to maintain a nice straight line between your arm all the way down to your butt or where your hips are. Now that you have that global mobility check, the next 5 moves, we're going to break it down. I'm going to start at the top of the body and work my way down all the way to the ankles. First one is the most common neck range that's lost, and that is cervical extension. So you could film yourself from the side doing any of these assessments, but you're just going to slowly look up towards the ceiling as far as you can. And ideally, we want to be as close to parallel as possible. A lot of my desk workers, this is the first range they lose, and they start to get tight right around here. That's a big indicator that you need to start working on at least your upper body mobility right away. Next is our shoulders. The first movement we see lost is shoulder flexion. So that's just bringing arm up overhead. You're gonna have thumbs facing forward and you're gonna bring it up overhead without breaking this plane here. So from the side, start to bring my arms overhead. And what we're looking for here is a straight line from our hand all the way down to our feet. So a lot of times we lose that restriction right here, or we just tend to cheat through the spine. So if we're keeping ribs down, arms overhead, we want that straight line. If you don't get to that straight line, then you know shoulder mobility is a priority for you. Next one, and probably the most important one, is your spinal mobility. So for this one, you're gonna go feet together. You're gonna bring your arms out in front of you like a patty cake. You're gonna stare at your thumbs, and you're just gonna rotate side to side as far as you can. To pass this test, you need to get past 90 degrees. So if I'm out in front right here, I'm gonna rotate as far as I can. There's 90, and I can go just a little bit past. It's still pretty tight, but let's check the other side. Arms straight out in front of me, start to rotate. I can already tell I'm tighter on this side. If I really fight for it, I can get to that 90, but I know spinal mobility is gonna be a priority for me as well. So we got neck, shoulders, spine, next is hips. So from the side, again, if you're filming yourself doing all these movements, we just want to drive our knee as close to our chest as possible, and we just wanna get right above parallel. So hip flexion's one of the first movements we lose from a mobility standpoint. So if you're getting pinchy or even stuck right around 90, man, you need to prioritize your mobility training, because you want to be able to get that as high as possible, at least to about 120 degrees. And last but not least, our ankle mobility. So an easy test for ankle mobility is just going up against a wall, or I'm at a door here. You're gonna take one fist, put it up against the wall, and then you're gonna put your toes as close to that as possible, and then you're just simply gonna drive your knee towards the wall. Now the goal here is to try to touch this. So I'm about 1 inch away from the wall, and of course you're gonna test both sides here. So let's see how far I can go. Yep, about 1 inch here. I'm doing this cold right now because I didn't want to cheat. So ankle mobility, especially on lower body days at the gym, is going to be a high priority before I start my workout. Like I already mentioned a few times, the best thing you could do is set your phone up and film yourself doing all of these movements. Or if you have a friend at home or a spouse that can film it for you. So that way, before you start your mobility training journey, you have a baseline of where you started. And this also helped you identify where your biggest areas of need are. So if you didn't pass any of these tests, then you know, holy smokes, you're on borrowed time before you start getting injury after injury if you haven't already. Or let's say you just had one joint that was stiff, then you know where to put all of your time and resources into to get your mobility score back up where it needs to be. Now, if this assessment helped you realize that you need to start mobility training ASAP, the next video I'm going to show you the most efficient way possible to get these mobility results that you're looking for. This philosophy helps a majority of my patients and clients, so watch that here so you can start to understand how we fix these problems.